The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Some Greeks hanging around in Jerusalem during the festival approach Philip, and say, "We wish to see Jesus. We wish to see Jesus." Like these curious Greeks, we wish to see Jesus. We wish to see where God is, to see with our own eyes. We wish to see God. And perhaps that would be enough for most of us to see God and then go home, same as we were with this wonderful memory of seeing Jesus. Jesus following goes deeper than Jesus sighting. We see Jesus, then we live into loving covenant in tangible ways. Jesus explains to the Greeks who seek him and to his disciples and to us who still seek him that his covenant love will go into deep, dark places, like a seed that is buried way down deep that will in time burst through the soil, grow strong, and bear fruit. Jesus will go deep down into the rich, dark soil and emerge in glory, bearing abundant fruit for this hungry world. A few guys in togas who want to see Jesus show us that Jesus was popular. Jesus points to an even greater glory, which is much more than popularity. We imitate the deep love of Jesus. We imitate the part of this process where we are willing to be planted in that deep, dark soil of the earth so that we too can burst forth and bear fruit with Jesus. Planted deep means we don't get to see the sun for a while. And yet the soil still feels the sun. It feels the sun, and the warmth of the soil draws us into growth. And we wake up suddenly and sense that we are being changed. We are changing into something new. From a seed buried in the depths of the soil to a shoot emerging in the sunlight. And soon enough, with sun and water and root support, our branches are spreading. We flower and we fruit. After a year of pandemic, I feel a bit like these Greeks, these curious Greeks. I wish to see Jesus, and I wish to see all of the Jesus followers who normally gather in this space. Yes, we wish to see Jesus, and we wish to see Jesus together. To us, Jesus says, I'm going to be planted like a seed of grain that looks dead, yet is waiting to come to life when warmed by the sun. And Jesus looks at us, the ones who really want to see Jesus, and adds, whoever serves me must follow me. Whoever serves me must follow me to where I go. And where I am, there my servant will be also. Friends, that's an invitation. That's an invitation to be a part of this Jesus life cycle of being buried and then pushing through the soil and then growing and bearing fruit, to be planted deep in that dark space so that we can grow and grow enough fruit to share to the glory of God. Anyone else feel like they might be getting ready to emerge from a season spent way down deep underground, planted like some isolated seed in the deep, dark soil? Many of us have had that feeling of being buried deep in some dark space, deep in some soil, nourished by challenges and victories, griefs and losses, by insights about ourselves and the world around us, given new strength as we are buried even deep in the soil. Here's the funny thing about this Jesus life cycle. We do not know what type of plant we are becoming. As we emerge from the soil, we'll be looking over at our leaves and our branches and our stem and maybe even our flowers and our fruit, trying to figure it out even as we are growing. We don't know what we're becoming, what kind of a plant we're becoming. As the vaccine rollout continues, as we return to in-person worship soon, as we gather today for annual meeting, elect new leaders, see the budget for the coming year of ministry, we are growing as a congregation into something that we have yet to identify clearly. Are we a modest blade of grass, a hardworking corn stalk, a showy orchid, a stately oak tree? We don't know. Time will tell. Whatever it is that we are growing into as the people of God at St. Andrews in Glenwood, God receives all the glory, not us. Any growth, any fruit, it's all to the glory of God. Over the last couple of months, as the staff tallied up the engagement numbers for the past year, I was totally blown away by how many people have been involved in online worship, not only our Sunday services, but the worship that happens all week long in this congregation online now. I was blown away by how many people have participated in the Sacred Ground racial reconciliation dialogue groups, how much money has been generously donated to care for the unmet needs of our wider community. To God be the glory for the work God's people have accomplished in the midst of a pandemic. It is all because God first planted us, watered us, warmed us, and grew us into this community over the past 40 years. God has been glorified. Even as we bear fruit, new seeds are being planted. Seeds of evangelism online in this kind of format, seeds of justice, seeds of grace and love, seeds of joy and peace. Now, just like Paul taught us, and that's not Paul the Apostle, that's Paul Beers, the master gardener who led a workshop about getting our gardens ready for spring last Sunday afternoon. So just like Paul Beers, the master gardener, taught us, there are things that plants need as spring arrives. And so we gather today to have our annual meeting, to prepare the soil, to get our tools ready for another season of growth. Yes, we want to see Jesus. And yes, we follow and serve him, even into the deep, rich soil that produces fruits like love and justice, connection and goodness. We are all called to bear fruit, which glorifies God.
Amen.
Together, let us affirm our faith with the words of the Nicene Creed. We believe in